The controversy. To understand the controversy, you must first understand that free speech does not really exist in America. The Constitution is just a figment of all of our imagination. There is no Bill of Rights. There are no amendments. They simply do not exist. Think about it for a moment. 200 years ago, when the Constitution was written, I was considered property. Now, the mindset of anybody who can draft a Constitution and say, everything looks okay, doesn't it? This is right as we can get. Black people are slaves. White people own everything. And we have all the power. Any questions? Okay, let's sign it. How could you believe you could own somebody and since you were doing something right? The entire Constitution is void. It was written by lunatics. Throughout the controversy, people defended me on the grounds of the First Amendment. Fuck the First Amendment. I have the right under God to say anything I want to say from my heart that comes out of my mouth. I do not need a law to say what I can or cannot say. I am a human being put on this earth, and I can say any motherfucking thing I want. As soon as you make a law to tell you what you can say, the same law will tell you what you can't say. Fuck the motherfucking First Amendment. I've been surrounded by controversy since I started making records. Anytime you ever say something the conservative masses disagree with, you've made a controversial statement. The power brokers in this country rarely agree with anything I have to say. The reason is simple. I am a black man and my agenda is counter to their agenda. Their agenda is to maintain the status quo. My agenda is to flip the status quo and to allow people on the bottom to get to the top. Naturally, the people on the top want to stay there, but it's my aim to see that everybody can get to the top. One reason I am regarded as being so controversial is I say exactly what's on my mind. The people are always telling me, don't say that. I just continue to speak. This book won't get me a Nike commercial or a Coke commercial, because in order to get the big sponsorships from these companies, you have to buy into the American way. You have to say, the president is great. There's no racism. Let's pay our taxes. Isn't this country great? Red, white, and blue. The Persian Gulf War. Yeah. As much as I would like to do a Nike commercial with Michael Jordan, it's not important enough for me that I would change my beliefs. Long before Cop Killer was released and my career would be publicly defined by a 4-minute soundbite, I was dealing with the enemy. I've been going through these shitstorms since '87 when I dropped Rhyme Pays. It was the first album ever stickered, and I was the first real rapper to come out and use a lot of profanity and talk crazy. When I dropped Power in 1988, people went after the album's cover, which you'll recall had the infamous photograph of my girlfriend in a bikini holding a gun. They also came after the song I'm Your Pusher, which is an anti-drug song. Without even knowing what the song was about, people flipped. Are you saying you're selling dope, Ice-T? By the time my next album, Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, I had already seen just exactly how much protection the First Amendment offered black rappers in this country. I was beginning to see how worried everybody was about what I had to say. In the song Freedom of Speech, I rapped, let me tell you about down south, where a motherfucker might as well not even have a mouth. Columbus, Georgia said they'd lock me up if I got on the stage at my show and said, fuck. So I thought for a minute and said no, I wasn't even going to do a damn show. Course for me to change my words from my rhymes is never going to happen because there's no sellout on mine. But I vowed to get those motherfuckers one day. They even arrested Bobby Brown and Cool J. Yo, they got theirs coming because I'm mad and I'm gunning homeboys and there's no running. I'm going to tell you how I feel about you. No bull, no lies, no slacks, just straight fact. Columbus, Georgia, you can suck my dick. You ain't nothing but a piece of fucking shit on the damn map. When I wrote those lines in 1989, I'd been out there on tours and was running into freedom of speech. People had already told me what I could not say on stage in Columbus, Georgia. They said I couldn't say anything they called a swear word, and you couldn't touch yourself. Body Count was intentionally different from an Ice-T album. An Ice-T album has intelligence and at times has ignorance, sometimes has anger, sometimes has questions. Body Count was intended to reflect straight anger. It was supposed to be the voice of the angry brother without answers. The tone of the record wasn't, why are the police hurting me? Why are my parents racist? It was, fuck the police. Fuck your parents. If you took a kid and put him into a jail cell with a microphone and asked him how he feels, you'd get Body Count. fuck that, fuck school, fuck police. You get raw anger. Body count says, let me put you in touch with that anger. That's how I analyzed NWA when they came out. Reporters came to me and said, your music is different than NWA. NWA is stupid. And I would explain to them, NWA ain't stupid. They just didn't understand what NWA means. NWA is niggas with an attitude. It's supposed to be visceral. It's intentionally expressed with an attitude. Body Count was an angry record. It was meant to be a protest record. I put my anger in it while lacing it with dark humor. We decided to fuck with three enemies in Body Count. First, the KKK. The KKK is a hate organization based around genocide of anybody who is not white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I hate them because they would like to see me dead. I shouldn't have to explain to you why that organization would be my enemy. Now, if you've listened this far and you still don't understand why I don't like the KKK, stop the tape now. We fuck with the KKK because I feel the true fear of the white racist man is his woman leaving him for a black man and systematically eliminating the white race. The white woman making love with the black man. KKK bitch was ironic because the sentiments were true. We played Ku Klux Klan areas in the South, and the girls would always come backstage and tell us how their brothers and fathers didn't like black folks. I'd say, like, what does your father do? I'd ask. And she'd say, he's the chief of police. Is he in the Klan? Kinda. What are you doing here? I think this record's good. Let's fuck. We knew the KKK bitch would totally piss off the Ku Klux Klan. There's humor in this song, but it fucks with them. Our second attack was on racist parents. Anyone who brings an innocent child into this world and decides to teach them hate is our enemy. Mama's Gotta Die Tonight was written to mess with anybody who has a racist heart. It's about a kid who dismembers his mother over racism. And the record I play a kid who kills his mother over a white girl. A white kid could kill his mother over a black girl and it would be essentially the same song. I also wanted the record to be a metaphor for the dismembering of racism, a dismembering of the whole attitude. Whoever is still perpetuating racism has got to die, not necessarily physically, but you have to kill off that part of their brain. From now on, consider it dead. And last, brutal police. We targeted police who feel it's not their job to solve problems, but to perpetuate them. At the very beginning of Cop Killer, I dedicated it to the LAPD and to Police Chief Daryl Gates. The lyrics are blatant and very specific. The chorus explains what the record is about. Cop Killer, it's better you than me. Cop Killer, fuck police brutality. Cop Killer, I know your family's grieving. Fuck 'em. Cop Killer, but tonight we get even. My anger is clearly aimed at brutal police. People who came after the record didn't understand how I could sing, I know your family's grieving. My response to them was, fuck them. Our parents are grieving for the death of our kids. They've been grieving for a long time, and the number of dead cops can't even begin to compare to the number of dead kids. In 1991, 3 cops were killed in the entire state of California. That same year, 81 people in LA alone were killed by cops in proven police misconduct cases. The song was created to be a protest record, a warning, not a threat, to authority that says, yo, police, we're human beings. Treat us accordingly. The moment you step outside of the law, then it's fair for us to step outside of the law too. And somebody's going to die, and it's better you than me. So what happened? The record is out. My fans didn't consider Body Count a controversial record. They listened to Cop Killer and smiled and understood it. My fans got a direct line on me, and they know that if I'm controversial, they are too. You just don't hear them because they don't have platforms like I do. The album debuted at 32 on Billboard's Top 50. Not bad for the first hardcore rap rock to cross over. Body Count tours with Lollapalooza the same summer of 91. In 21 cities, 430,000 predominantly white kids waved their fists in the air and screamed Cop Killer along with us. Nothing happens. In the winter of 1991-92, Body Count headlines its own tour. We hit 70 cities performing Cop Killer to fans at about 80 shows. Nothing happens. Then the first verdict comes in. After looking at Rodney King roll around on the asphalt for about a year, with people watching the cops go free, the shit hits the fan. Cops are being found guilty all over the United States for brutality. First time in a long time, people outside the ghettos were looking at the cops as the actual savage criminals that some of them really are. Honest cops were being prejudged and hurt behind this sweat. Out of nowhere, a cop in Texas discovers Cop Killer, and the record must have scared the shit out of him. Oh shit, he figured. They're riding in L.A. and now there's a record telling people to kill cops. Oh my God. Even more frightening, it's a rock record, and it's backed by Bugs Bunny's company. My message connected to that corporation was scary as shit. I was being powered by a big business, white-owned, white-run, all-American apple pie business. So the fraternal organization of cops decides that this record is going to be the cause of police getting killed, and somebody else, possibly Ollie North, one of America's arch villains, came to them and said, it's also a good way to take the heat off of the cops. They decided to go after Warner Brothers and run a big boycott. Bill Clinton, probably in an attempt to create sympathy before announcing the Gores on his ticket, Dan Quayle and George Bush compound this propaganda campaign by coming to the aid of the police and attacking me. What did it all add up to? They managed to camouflage the issue of police brutality. They said, look how terrible Ice-T is. Look how terrible Warner Brothers is. America, can you believe Warner Brothers has a record like this? Immediately, everybody in this country gets mad at me and says I'm terrible. And predictably, America totally forgets about the cops who are on the street still hurting people. All of a sudden, I became the headline news every night. They split America right down the middle, and the people who came in to aid me marched in defense of the First Amendment. I didn't need anybody to come in and say I had the right to say it. I needed people with credibility to step up and say, Ice-T not only has the right to say it, fuck the police. Who the fuck are the motherfucking police that they can control us like this? We're not apologizing to you cops for what you've been doing. It's time for people to get angry, along with the guy who wrote Cop Killer. And some of you motherfuckers might end up dead.